He promised that he would negotiate a win. He promised to get a rapid deal. Still no win, still no deal. Elbows gone missing, and so are the jobs. Today we saw the question was about jobs, and he responds with a spelling bee, Mr. Speaker.
This is the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has tried to deny the existence of continued hidden Liberal taxes on groceries. But Canada's leading food price expert, the food professor, Sylvain Charlebois, has said the exact opposite. He says, and I quote, "The industrial carbon tax, the worst part is still there." He was referring to the fact that farmers pay the tax on the steel that goes into their farm equipment, combines, tractors, and bins, and on their fertilizer. Is the Prime Minister really going to expect Canadians who can't pay their grocery bills to believe that the cost of the carbon tax on our farmers does not get passed on at the grocery shelf?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to quote independent research, Mr. Speaker, the Canadian Climate Institute, which finds that the impact of the industrial carbon tax, now wait for it, the net impact of the industrial carbon tax on food prices, it is on average around 0%.
Leader of the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister expects us to believe government-funded so-called experts paid to push his agenda instead of believing in the obvious fact that when you tax the things that go into making food, you tax all who buy the food. This is a Prime Minister who says he's a great expert. But he told CTV Nova Scotia that Canadians don't use steel anymore. Does he not acknowledge, does he not know that there is steel in farm tractors, farm combines, farm bins, and other farm equipment? And does he not think, for God's sakes, that those costs get passed on to consumers?
Hoping to end as close to 3 as possible, but it might not be possible today. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The folks are feisty over there today. What I will say is we've been hearing all week, all month since the beginning of this session about these imaginary taxes. These imaginary taxes in the brain of the Leader of the Opposition, but that no one else has seemed to manage. What I will tell him is that there will be a budget, there will be some numbers and some tables that he can read there where he will not find taxes on food. There is no tax on food. There will never be a tax on food.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, first, we're all disappointed to learn that Liberals think that Canadians who see grocery prices rising at records rates are just imagining things, Mr. Speaker. And further disappointed to see that this Prime Minister cannot stand in his place and address real questions about the cost of groceries for Canadians. It's not just the industrial carbon tax, Mr. Speaker. It is also the government's fuel standard, which, according to their own department, is going to increase the cost of fuel by 17 cents on the farmers and the truckers who bring us our food. Does he really expect consumers to believe that won't?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And what's not imaginary is that Canadians know who they can trust. In fact, time and again, they've looked at these Conservatives across the aisle vote against their very interests, whether it's things like the school nutrition program, whether it's things like early learning and childcare, which, oh, by the way, Mr. Speaker, has got the average cost of childcare down to $16 a day. Mr. Speaker, these are real savings for real Canadian families, and the only thing imaginary is their own perception.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, it is really disappointed this Prime Minister refuses to stand up and debate the real cost of his taxes on Canadian food consumers. It's the same thing with the auto sector. He promised that he would negotiate a win. He promised to get a rapid deal. Still no win, still no deal. Elbows gone missing, and so are the jobs. Today we saw Paccard au Québec. Il y a 300.
In Quebec, 300 jobs lost at Paccard.
That it was Ingersoll, the Cami plant, and before that the GM plant in Oshawa. Is the Prime Minister selling out the auto sector in his attempt to back down to the U.S. President?
Yeah. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there's no I in team, but apparently there's an I in Conservative. Team in Conservative. There's a team on these benches. This government is in a position with the best accord with the Americans. We have the lowest tariff on the auto sector.
Yeah, the Right Honourable Prime Minister from the top, please.
Mr. Speaker, there's no I in team, but there is an I in Conservative. There is a team, and there is a team in Liberal that can answer these questions. And this is what the Liberal team has accomplished. We have the best deal with the Americans of any country. We have the lowest tariff on our automobiles and trucks of any country, but we are not satisfied. That is why we are negotiating a new accord on steel, on aluminum, on energy, and on auto.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The question was about jobs, and he responds with a spelling bee, Mr. Speaker. This is the guy who's supposed to negotiate a win for us, a guy who said he'd have a deal by July 21st. He's the guy who said he's had his elbows up, and since that time, his elbows have gone missing, Mr. Speaker. The Canadian people need those jobs. He promised he would protect those jobs. Will he stand up today, look the auto workers in Ontario and Quebec in the eye, and tell them why he abandoned them and sold them out?
The Honourable Minister responsible for Canada-US trade.
Mr. Speaker, our government has no difficulty looking at the hard-working women and men who work in our auto industry and in industries across the country to say that we're fighting for their jobs. We're standing up to the Americans for unjustified tariffs. We're negotiating what we think will be agreements that will be in the best interest of Canadian workers and the Canadian economy. And what we're also doing at the same time, Mr. Speaker, is taking steps to support those very industries in Canada. That's what we were elected to do. That's what the Prime Minister's doing with everybody on this side of the House.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
That was not what this Prime Minister promised. He promised that he would negotiate a win. He promised that he would have a deal by July 21st. Neither of those things happened. He went to the auto sector and told the workers that not only would he protect their jobs, but there would be an all-in-Canada supply chain that is being dismantled right before our eyes. And it's not just his trade negotiating failures, it's his EV mandate, which has slammed the brakes on any investment in auto manufacturing in this country. If the Prime Minister take personal responsibility for this and announce today an end to the EV mandate so we can get our workers back to jobs.
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
When it comes to the auto workers, they know that we have their back and that we will fight for every single job in this country in the auto sector. You know why? Because the Canadian automakers and the Canadian auto workers are actually the best in the world. And therefore, we will make sure that Stellantis is held to account. We are meeting with GM tomorrow in Ottawa, bringing back a model into the plant in Ingersoll, and we will be there also for the employees at Paccard and Sainte-Thérèse. Thank you.
Okay, what about Gould? Okay, so
We have, yeah, I think.
okay. Excuse me. L'honorable député.
The honourable member.
Wait. Okay. The honourable leader of the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister's failures and capitulations are not just vis-a-vis the United States. He promised he would stand up for Western Canadian farmers, but canola tariffs have now more than doubled. The Prime Minister, in response to this, has given the communist regime in China the billion-dollar taxpayer-funded loans so that we can buy Chinese-made ships. And now he's announced that he's further conceded by removing tariffs on Chinese-made steel. Why is it that in addition to selling out the auto workers, he sold out our farmers and rewarded foreign dictatorships that target them with tariffs?
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our new government was elected to expand and diversify over international trade with reliable partners. We are in a volatile global economy. We are defending our trade interests. We are expanding into new markets, and we are working alongside our farmers in every aspect. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.